final way that we measure the God gap. It is a place where you will have to confront your insecurities to come in alignment with your assignment. That was a mouthful, okay? The God gap represents a place. So we've talked about time, space, abilities, and now it's an actual place where you're going to have to do some heavy confrontation, okay, to be able to come in alignment with your assignment. So what are we confronting? The self. We're confronting the self. We mentioned insecurities. We mentioned shortcomings, okay? We're talking about weaknesses, things that you maybe, the same things keep tripping you up, okay? The same mindsets, mentalities, okay? That's definitely a big one that we have to address. Here at Healed Woman, we are no stranger to the mindset shift, okay? If we desire to level up, to step into our royal position as queens in the kingdom, we know that we must start with the mind, my dear, okay? Everything starts with the mind. You want to change your life, you got to change your mind. And if we're confronting our mindsets, things that are holding us back, things that are dictating our literal routines and habits and our lifestyle, we got to confront some things that aren't working for us, that are counterproductive, counterintuitive even. And the God gap is the perfect place to do that, perfect place to come face to face with your creator, but also face to face with yourself about what is not working, what is working, what can I do better, how can I improve, how can I make sure my systems are working for me, how can I make sure that my goals are in alignment with what the Holy Spirit told me or the vision that he gave me for my life, okay? This could be, the God gap is a certain amount of time, I would say. It's not the same for everyone, it varies. But this specific point, I would say, where you are confronting insecurities and confronting systems that don't work, it could be an additional season where you're actually stalled a little bit. Yeah. Where you are stalled in addition to your process to purpose, you're stalled so that you can handle those things. It's probably likened to a season of healing. It's probably likened to a season of healing where if you stepped outside of the path God had you on, you took a detour, and now that detour took you to another street and another boulevard, another avenue, okay? And so you're on this stall, you're on this detour to just get back to where you were initially so that you can continue on the path to purpose. And sometimes a detour will just take you on a completely different route. Same destination, but you're just on a different route, my dear. And this specific point, a place where you are confronting insecurities, that's probably a time that the Lord has allowed for you to feel like you're being stagnant, like you're being held in stagnation or experiencing delay. And he's allowing you to just completely detox from whatever is really holding you back so that when he slingshots you into purpose, okay, that was a terrible representation of a slingshot. Like, you know, like the Y and like you just pull back and shoot up. When the Lord slingshots you into purpose, he has perfect aim, okay, my dear? He's not going to miss. And so he wants to make sure that as he's pulling you back, that season where you feel like you're being held back, when he releases you, oh, you're going to go straight into where you always headed. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for that analogy. He is going to aim you straight for where you're always headed, my dear, but it seems like right now you're being pulled back. And that is the place where you are able to deal with toxic mindsets, okay? What we are overcoming here at Healed Woman, overcoming toxic mindsets. I was in my own slingshot season, my dear, where I felt like I was being pulled back, dragged back, where I felt like I was taking several steps back. And the Lord was like, no, my dear, I'm setting you up for a comeback. And he desires to do the same for you, my dear, okay? This is this season where you are confronting insecurities, to get comfortable with saying, that's not me anymore. To get comfortable saying, that's the former me, but I'm focusing on the future, okay? Isaiah 43:18, forget the former and focus on the future. This is the season where you are breaking up with your past, where you are releasing all that does not serve you, where you are forgiving and forgetting and moving on and moving into all that the Lord has for you, okay, my dear? This is probably the biggest transition period in the God gap, okay, my dear? It's a shedding, it's a rebirth, okay? It's priming you and preparing you for a new birth, okay? And this is a really important step because so much happens in the healing and the detoxing and in the releasing and not suppressing anymore, okay? The time, space, abilities, like those are all active seasons where you are called to do something active. You are producing, you are being fruitful, okay? And getting to where the Lord is calling you. But this fourth one where you are, it feels like you're literally being stripped and being made new, literally releasing old things before the Lord catapults you into your next. It's imperative, it's necessary, and it's unavoidable. You got to go through this one, sis, okay? It's a period where you are doing things you've never done before, but it will produce so much character and maturity and growth. It will foster so much growth in you right before you're released into destiny. My beautiful daughter, I hope these 4 analogies and these explanations were really helpful to you to understand what you could be going through in this God gap, what it means and how it relates to the birthing season that we're all currently entering into or have been expecting for a couple months now, okay? There are 4 months left in the year. Do you know how much the Lord can do with 4 months' time, especially if he's promised you something? He says, my daughter, this is the season in which it will happen, but I'm still tweaking things. I'm still refining you. I'm still building you on the potter's wheel. So what are some things that we can look forward to that we might want to incorporate into our habits as we journey on in the God gap? Okay, what to do during this gap? Definitely fast and pray. Like, absolutely. You got to die to self. Okay, you got to decrease so the Lord can increase. Okay, my dear, fasting and praying is all about gaining more intimacy, getting closer or developing a closer walk with God. Okay, especially putting things away that probably have become your God, have become your idol. Okay, I know for me, I frequently do social media detoxes. Okay, social media fasts, regular fasts as well. Okay, you decide in your quiet time with the Holy Spirit what you need to fast from, because it's not always food. It's not always food that's our God or that's our idol. Okay, there's a pastor who says, you need to fast when your gut has become your God. Okay, when you can't say no to your stomach, or you can't say no, to food. And sometimes there are other areas that people are struggling with. Okay, so fast and pray. Ask the Lord, what do I need to detox from in this season? And get into the Spirit, my dear. Fill yourself up with spiritual nourishment. Okay, God will fill this gap. He will come through in the way that he's promised, but you must decrease so that he can increase. Okay, my dear. Second thing to do in the God gap, spend more intentional time in his presence. So that definitely goes along with fasting. You got to spend more time in his presence, my dear. The Holy Spirit is always speaking, but are you listening? Okay, not just hearing. Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you sensitive to what the Holy Spirit is saying to you in this season, where he wants to go, where he wants you to go, and how he is going to get you there? I promise you, he will reveal so many important, pertinent information, tidbits of information, but you gotta stay sensitive, submitted, okay, and surrendered, okay? And honestly, just lean into it, my dear. Lean into the process, okay? It's happening whether you want it to or not. There's only so many detours and distractions and counterfeits that you can entertain until the Lord is literally like, my daughter, you're mine, okay? I'm pulling you into this season of rest, of reset, and you're just going to have to allow that process. You can't fight it. So you might as well lean into it. It says 100%, 110, show up every day. Allow the shift, allow the divine reset, allow whatever the Lord is calling you to do in this season. And I promise you, it's going to make something so beautiful, okay? So beautiful out of you, and God's going to get the glory, okay? So I really encourage you to take this word back to God, meditate on it, ask the Lord, where am I on this God gap? Let me know in the comments down below what you thought, where you identify, or which, not stage, but maybe which phase you're in the God gap, and how I can continue to pray for you and just war for you all in the Spirit in my own quiet time, okay? Thank you again for watching, and I will see you on the other side of healing. So stay blessed, my beautiful sister.